Hello everybody, so this is a new one for me. This is my first live stream on LinkedIn, and in all fairness, it's been a long time since I've done a live stream of any form, so apologies if this is a bit messy, but I guess that's the nature of live streaming. So I'm hoping this is going well. I have no idea how long the delay is on these lives, so if you do want to comment, engage, send me messages, whatever, that's absolutely perfect. Just be aware that there is a bit of a delay, so I'll try and get around to these things as best I can. But for now, I just wanted to talk a little bit tonight about success and fulfillment and happiness in life in general. This is something that I'm really keen to get the message out around. And again, I recognize I said tonight, it may not be tonight where you are, but all being well, this is going out properly and going well, hopefully. So why do I want to talk about success, happiness and fulfillment? Well, it's just because this is something that's really close to my heart in terms of what I work with people on and what I want to try and advocate the message around. So the premise for all of this is that I think if we want to live a really good and successful and happy life, then there are certain things that we need to focus on in all of this. And that to me is, well, various different things, but a key part of it is if we do want to be successful, which is ultimately why we should have a why in our lives and a decent purpose and passion around. And can you tell I've not rehearsed any of this? But it's this whole thing of we are here in this lifetime as far as we know once. Now, there are obviously varying beliefs depending on your spirituality, your religion, and so on and so forth. But regardless of whether or not you believe in reincarnation, additional lives, anything like that, at this moment in time, all we know and all we can really prove is that we have just this one single life, and that is all we can make the use of and all we can really plan for. Now, again, I don't want to step on anyone's beliefs, so if you do disagree with this, then by all means let me know, but I'm not trying to be contentious. I'm not trying to cause trouble or arguments or anything like that. It's just my opinion, and it is just my opinion, so I really want to stress that. But because we are here just once, as far as we know, I'm going to stress that point again, but because we are just here once and we don't really know what happens next, in my mind, all we can really do is make the most of our time while we're here, while we're on this planet. And for that, why not be successful with it? But at the end of the day, we're all born human. We're all born more or less the same. We obviously do have differences. Some people do unfortunately end up born disabled. Some people have mental disabilities. I'm not discrediting any of this. I'm not discounting any of that. But ultimately, we all have that one same opportunity at life, no matter how we're brought into this world and where we are and what our situation is. And we are here to make the most of it. So being successful and striving for success is something I think we absolutely should do. The proviso of that, though, is that we also need to be fulfilled whilst doing it. So I work with a lot of business people, and what I've actually noticed over the time that I've done this and talking to so many different people through networking and other forums is that when people decide that they're going into business, they will do it for different reasons. And it is good to have a really strong purpose and reason behind this, but not everyone does that. And that's something that can be worked on. You can, discover these things. It's not something you have to have or should feel pressured to have. But what I have noticed is, regardless of the reason for getting into business, a lot of people will get into business for a short-sighted goal and it's short term. And then what they do is they pile all their time, all their effort, all their energy, probably a lot of their money as well, if not all of it, into that business. And what are they left with at the end of it? A business, which is good. And I'm, again, a huge advocate for having businesses. I've got a couple of my own, and it's all about giving you that freedom and the responsibility and the control over your own lives. That's why ultimately we tend to go into business. Obviously there's things like we want to make money, we want to be wealthy, we want to be happy, we want to be opulent and so on, but at the end of the day, business is there to serve us, not the other way around. And what I've found and noticed is that a lot of people get into business and they end up consumed by it, and the business runs their lives, so they're living to work, which is no different than if you're in a career and you're in a job. You're living to work if that is all you do and focus on, because we spend a good chunk of our time when we're awake working, whether that's for an employer, whether it's on our own business, whether you're self-employed, whether you're partnering with someone, it doesn't matter. But if you have a job, if you have a career, if you have a business, that is a big chunk of your time. So what am I kind of getting at here? Well, the point is fulfillment, as I say. If all we're doing is working and we're working ourselves to the bone and we're spending all our energy doing that, the problem that I've found is that we end up not fulfilled. And then you ask the question, well, why are you doing the business? And some people will say, okay, well, I'm there just to make money. And then again, you often ask the question of, well, once you've made that money, what are you going to do to it? Or what are you doing now with that money, more importantly? And again, they'll say, oh, well, I'm building to retirement, I'm building a legacy, I'm building a future. Okay, but how much of that are you using now? How much are you taking time out now and today to, make the most of what you're generating, especially if you are successful? And often the answer is, I don't know, or I'm not really, because I'm building something for the future. Now, I'm not saying and suggesting that you shouldn't build for the future. We absolutely should, because we don't know, how our lives are going to pan out. We don't know how it's going to transpire. And I'm a huge believer in building and planning for a future. But we shouldn't wait for that to live our lives. And unfortunately, that is what a lot of people tend to do. And the example here is if you're in a career and you're working towards a retirement age, or you're in a business and you set yourself a retirement age, I think having these as goals are not really something that are productive, if I'm honest, because, and again, this is contentious, but if you're working to a retirement age and you're making these plans for retirement, that I'm going to start living in my retirement and I want to earn a load of money because then I can have a really comfortable life in retirement and so on and so forth, that's great. But that's in retirement. What are you doing now that's fun and making you happy and making you enjoy your life and building those relationships with people? I mean, we're all social animals, and again, trying to avoid the obvious topic, but for what we've had to endure for the last year or so and what we're still enduring, where a lot of us have been in our houses, some of us alone, some of us with partners, but we haven't been able to go out and socialize, and we are social creatures by nature. So if you're then cooping yourself up by just focusing on the business and not spending time with your loved ones, with your family, with your friends, and all you're doing is your business, well, great, you're going to make a good business, but how are you having fun in the rest of your life? How are you feeling that fulfillment through the rest of your life? So the kind of message I'm trying to give here is that, yes, you should absolutely focus on a business if you have one. If you're working on a career and you want to go up the corporate ladder, excellent, do that, focus on that, but do not neglect your life today for what you want in the future. We should have a life in the future. We need to be fit, we need to be healthy, we need to look after ourselves so that we can enjoy our future, but we also need to enjoy the now, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. There's the old example of, and it's a bit morbid, but getting hit by a bus and you're crossing the road. Maybe not so much in certain places, but it is true that we just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And there's this whole statement, depending on the circles that you run in, of there is nothing that exists in time apart from the present. Past doesn't exist because it's gone, it's done, it's dusted, you can't change it. Future, again, doesn't exist because it hasn't happened yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We can plan and we can make these preparations for what we want to do, but we cannot predict accurately what's going to happen in the future unless you are a fortune teller who happens to have some sort of insight, which, again, whether you believe in these things is up to you. I do not pose any judgment on anything like that, but realistically, all we know is the here and now. And when people talk about being present, being mindful, being focusing on your well-being and wellness, it's all about the now. There's no point in doing all of this in preparation for tomorrow, when tomorrow may never come, because we just don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the next time a pandemic's going to hit and we can't do the things that we love to do. We don't know, if we're going to end up with an illness that stops us doing what we need to do, or what's going to happen with our friends, our family, our relations, and take them away from us. So why wait for tomorrow to do this and experience these things when you can actually plan and build that you can do it now? So this whole planning aspect of it, I'm a huge planner, and people who know me and know me well will know that I plan to the nth degree, and that is absolutely true. I am a ridiculous planner. It's too much, to be honest, but it's not at the neglect of what I do today. So I might plan for what I'm doing in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Great, because they're my goals. That's what I'm working towards. They're the things that drive me and what I'm going to do around that. But at the same time, I'm working those backwards. And this is all about goal setting, which I'll probably cover at a different date. But working that goal backwards, what can I achieve in the next 10 years if I'm starting at 30? What can I achieve in the next 5 years? What can I achieve in the next year? What can I achieve in the next 6 months, 4 months, 2 months, 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, tomorrow, today? And it's what do you want to experience, not just what you can achieve. So what do I want to experience? Do I want to go bungee jumping? Do I want to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge? Do I want to fly around the world? Do I want to go cruising? Do I want to travel to different areas? All things great. And again, you make your own goals of what you want to get out of life and what a successful and fulfilled life will look like to you if you were to look back and say, this was my life. But what can you do rather than planning to do those tomorrow, next week, in a month, and 2 years' time? What can you do to bring those things as close as possible to the here and now so that you can experience them then sooner? And again, stressing this point, I'm not trying to suggest that we should never plan for the future and we should just do everything now. That's ridiculous. We do need to plan, but there are elements of what we plan for in the future that we can bring forward sometimes. And if you're working towards that career goal, or you're working towards having this big business, all fantastic goals, all fantastic aspirations, but don't neglect the fact that you can live now and you have got a life to live now. And that's the message. So it's a bit lecture, I guess, is that one. And I'm sorry if it has come across that way. I've just kind of realised it now. It's not supposed to be a serious topic in that sense. It isn't. It isn't. It's supposed to be a bit of fun. You know, it is based in reality, though. I am very passionate about this, and the people who talk to me about these things, they do see that in me. So it is a serious thing to me, but at the end of the day, it should always be fun. Everything we should do, we should see joy in what we're doing. We should have fun with what we do. We should not really take it too seriously, because at the end of the day, we all end up the same way. And I'm not going to say what, because it's morbid, but it's true. So why wait and wait and wait to experience what we can experience today as best we possibly can, and make the most of the opportunities that we're presented with? So that's it for me for tonight. I'm going to leave it there. And again, I said tonight, you know, I'm not very good at doing this whole evergreen content thing, so I'll work on that. But that is what I'm doing for this video, at least this recording. If that's been useful, please let me know. Obviously, if you've got any feedback, commentary, always open to the feedback. A good friend of mine has always said that feedback is a gift, and that is absolutely true. It doesn't have to be just good feedback. All feedback is a gift. And again, apologies if there's been any technical hiccups with this. I'll be checking this back afterwards, making sure it's happened the way I thought it was going to happen. I've got no idea. This is definitely new to me in terms of this particular platform. So hopefully it's gone well. Hopefully it's come across properly. Hopefully my mic's not dropped out, because again, it's a new mic I'm testing. It's picking up my audio okay, but the levels have been a bit out, so we'll find out. And yeah, if there's anything you want me to cover in the future, any ideas you've got from this, any questions you've got on this, then absolutely reach out. Happy to help where I can. But just a bit of food for thought, I guess, and realistically just a trial run of the platform. So next time, all being well, I'll be a bit more prepared and it'll go a bit smoother, and there'll be a bit more clarity about how I talk. I also do wing it a little bit. So I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys soon.